The guilt you feel when you say no is a survival program. It's ancient code designed to keep you from being kicked out of the tribe and eaten by a predator. By the end of this video, you will understand how to rewrite that code using a practical 3-part framework. Because right now, that obsolete program is letting other people's priorities treat your life like a vacant lot, and you're the one paying the taxes. That knot in your stomach when you have to decline an invitation, or that wave of anxiety after telling a coworker you can't take on their project, that's a biological signal. It's a chemical cascade that evolved for one purpose: to maintain social cohesion in small, high-stakes groups. For 99% of human history, being ostracized was a death sentence. Your brain developed a powerful, visceral alarm system to prevent that. Guilt was the alarm. It screamed, "Warning, you are acting in a way that might threaten your connection to the group. Fix it. Apologize. Comply." Imagine you have a smoke detector in your kitchen. It's a very good smoke detector, perfectly calibrated to sense carbon particles in the air. When there's a house fire, it saves your life, but it also goes off every single time you make toast. The alarm is working perfectly, the signal is accurate. The problem is the context. Your brain's social alarm system is the same. It's a brilliant piece of engineering for a world that has vanished. Today, saying no to covering a shift for a coworker is interpreted by your ancient brain with the same severity as betraying your tribe on the eve of a hunt. The alarm goes off. You feel the guilt. You conclude you've done something morally wrong. This is the fundamental misunderstanding. The guilt feels like a moral verdict. It feels like a judgment from some higher authority, telling you that you are selfish, unkind, or a bad person. The feeling is a physical sensation. You are experiencing a social compliance tool that has been weaponized, sometimes unintentionally, by the world around you. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries learn through trial and error exactly how to make your toast. They know which requests will trigger your alarm, sending you scrambling to turn it off by saying yes. This system can be recalibrated. You do it by exposing the alarm to new data. You have to teach it through experience the difference between a piece of toast and a house fire. The feeling is real, but the catastrophe it predicts is an illusion. So how do you begin this recalibration, especially when the alarm feels so overwhelming? It starts with redrawing the map of your own world. The first step in this framework is to define the territory. A boundary is a property line. It clarifies where your responsibilities end and another person's begin. Guilt rushes in to flood any territory that is undefined. Your job is to build the fence. You do this with a tool I call a responsibility ledger. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write "my responsibility." On the other, "their responsibility." Now think of a specific situation where you struggle to set a boundary. Let's say a family member constantly asks you for last-minute demanding favors. In the "their responsibility" column, you would write things like managing their own time effectively, planning ahead, asking for a favor, experiencing disappointment if I say no, managing their own emotional reaction to my answer. Notice that last one. Their feelings about your boundary belong to them. They are 100% their responsibility. Now, for the "my responsibility" column, you might write to listen to their request respectfully, to evaluate whether I have the time, energy, and desire to fulfill the request, to communicate my decision clearly and kindly, to manage my own feelings of guilt when I say no, to tolerate their discomfort without trying to fix it. This exercise feels clinical. It is. It has to be. You are taking a vague, emotionally charged situation and translating it into a clear, logical diagram of ownership. You are giving your brain a new map. When the guilt alarm starts ringing, you can look at this ledger and see that you are fulfilling your duties. You are acting with integrity within your own territory. The alarm is ringing because of an event happening across the property line, in their yard. You can hear it, you can acknowledge it, but you don't have to put out their fire. Most of the time, it's just their toast burning. Doing this in the calm of your own home, away from the pressure of a direct request, is the essential first step. It builds the logical scaffolding you will need when the emotional storm hits. But a map is useless if you can't navigate the terrain. So what do you actually say in that moment? How do you voice the boundary when your throat feels tight and your brain is screaming, "Just say yes"? The second step is to master the two-part sentence. Your words are the fence posts. If they are weak or ambiguous, they will be pushed over. People pleasers often fail here. They try to soften the no with long, winding explanations. They justify, argue, defend, and explain. This behavior, sometimes called jade, is a mistake. It turns your boundary into a negotiation. When you give a list of reasons why you can't do something, you are handing the other person a list of problems to solve. You are inviting them to dismantle your fence, board by board. "I can't help you move on Saturday because I have to do laundry, and then I have this other thing with my cousin." The other person hears, "If you can help me solve my laundry problem and my cousin problem, then my no becomes a yes." You have invited them to manage your life. The alternative is a simple, clear, and finite statement. The most powerful boundary statements often come in two parts. The first part is the limit. The second is an optional bounded offer of connection, or an alternative. The first and simplest form is just one part, a clean no. "I'm unable to do that. I can't make that work." "No, thank you." That's a complete sentence. It requires no justification. For situations where you want to preserve connection, the two-part sentence is your tool. The formula is, I can't do is at work, instead of, "Oh, I don't know if I have time, my plate is really full. Let me see, try this. I can't take on that full project right now, but I can give you 30 minutes this afternoon to brainstorm with your team." Your no is clear. Your offer of help is bounded. It has a time limit. With family, instead of, "I really shouldn't lend you more money, things are tight, and you know what happened last time, try this. I'm not able to lend you any money. I can, however, help you look over your budget this weekend if you'd like." You have stated your limit on money. You have offered support in a different form, one that feels right to you. This structure communicates respect. It shows that you heard them and are engaging with their request, but you are honoring your own capacity. It replaces the resentment of a forced yes with the clarity of an honest no. Critics of this approach often ask, what if they push back? What if they demand a reason? A demand for a reason is often a search for leverage. They are looking for a crack in your wall. Your simple response can be a calm repetition, "As I said, I'm just unable to do that." Using this script feels unnatural at first. It feels blunt, but clarity is kindness. A vague maybe that is secretly a no is far more damaging. It creates false hope and breeds long-term distrust. A clean no disappoints for a moment. A resentful yes poisons the relationship for years. This works beautifully with people who respect you. But what happens when you deliver a clear boundary to someone who has no intention of honoring it? What happens when they push back hard? The third and most difficult step is to hold the space. You have defined your territory. You have delivered your clear statement. Now, the other person reacts. They might get angry. They might lay a guilt trip on you. They might get sad and quiet. They might accuse you of being selfish. This is the moment of truth. This is when your ancient tribal alarm system will go into overdrive. Every cell in your body will scream at you to fix their feeling, to apologize, to backtrack, to fold. Your job is to do nothing. Holding the space means you allow them to have their emotional reaction without you taking responsibility for it. You stand on your side of the property line and you watch them have a bonfire in their own yard. You can have compassion. You can say, "I can see that you're disappointed," or "I understand that this is frustrating for you." What you cannot do is cross the line and try to put out their fire. Their feelings are theirs to manage. This is the peak of discomfort. It's the moment of maximum internal pressure. The silence that follows their reaction will feel deafening. In that silence, you are rewiring your brain. You are providing your nervous system with a crucial new piece of data. Their disapproval is survivable. The world does not end. The tigers do not come. You just feel uncomfortable for a few minutes. Each time you successfully hold the space, you reduce the power of the guilt alarm. The next time it goes off, it will be a little quieter, a little less convincing. You are training your body through lived experience that the toast is just toast. The person's reaction is also just data. If someone consistently explodes, manipulates, or punishes you for holding a reasonable boundary, they are giving you vital information. They are showing you that the relationship was conditional. It was built on your compliance, your willingness to abandon your own territory. Their protest isn't a sign that your boundary is wrong. It is proof that your boundary was necessary. This process sounds isolating. It can feel like you are building walls to keep people out, becoming a cold and rigid person in the process. This is a profound misunderstanding of what a boundary truly is. A boundary is a prerequisite for genuine connection. Think about it. When you consistently say yes when you feel no, resentment begins to build. It's a quiet, corrosive acid that eats away at the foundation of the relationship. You start avoiding their calls. You show up to commitments feeling drained and passive-aggressive. You are physically present, but emotionally you have left the building. That is fake harmony. It is a relationship built on a lie. A clear, well-maintained boundary does the opposite. It makes true connection possible. It creates a space where you can give freely and enthusiastically because you know you are choosing to. A yes that comes from a person with good boundaries is a true gift. There are no strings attached. A yes from a people pleaser is a loan that will eventually come due with interest. Imagine your life as a house. A person with no boundaries has no front door. Anyone can wander in at any time, track mud on the carpet, and take things from the fridge. It's impossible to feel safe, to rest, to have a private thought. Life becomes a constant, exhausting exercise in managing uninvited guests. A boundary is a front door. It allows you to decide who you invite in and when. A healthy boundary is a fence with a gate. You can open it wide for a party. You can keep it shut when you need to rest. It allows for intimacy and generosity on your own terms. Without these structures, you eventually forget what your own house even looks like. Your life becomes a reflection of everyone else's needs, requests, and emergencies. Your internal signal, the quiet voice that knows what you want and what you need, gets drowned out by the noise of other people's expectations. You become a hollowed-out version of yourself, excellent at service, but a stranger to your own desires. That is the real cost of failing to build the fence. The guilt, even after all this work, might never disappear entirely, but it will change. It will transform from a screaming, terrifying alarm into a quiet signal. It becomes a piece of diagnostic data. When you set a boundary with someone and the guilt alarm is deafening, it's telling you something. It's revealing how much that specific relationship was predicated on your unending compliance. A quiet alarm, or no alarm at all, often signals a relationship built on mutual respect. The alarm's volume is a measure of the health of the connection. You learn to thank the alarm for the information, then carry on. You learn to recognize the smell of burning toast without calling the fire department. The space you create by setting a boundary is where your life finally has room to grow. The real question is what you'll choose to plant there.